So welcome to DC, Zedd, or is it Anton? Or is it Anton Zedd?
Whatever you like. Most people call me Zedd.
They do. And how did you come up with that name? That's an interesting name.
It's actually really boring. My last name starts with a Z, and I'm from Germany, and we pronounce the Z as Zedd. Right. And my friends gave me that as a nickname, and I started making music for fun. And it's like, I don't really care about my name too much, so I'll just leave that.
Well, it is a brand now, and it
is
internationally known around the world. It's too late to change.
I know, right?
But we welcome you to D.C.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here? You come here often?
I think I've been here before. I don't come here often for sure, but I've been here before. I've definitely never played a show this size, and I've never brought my real full production here, so this is going to be the first time.
And you've allowed us to be in your dressing room, and I know that in your dressing room you have this whole setup, this elaborate setup, so you must be writing and producing all the time. Even when you're not on stage, you're still working and thinking. The mind is always going.
Yeah, especially when you're on tour, you're inspired a lot, or I am inspired a lot, and then when you don't have anything to work with, that kind of, is a bummer. So I have my entire studio set up here and, a small set of speakers, and so if I have to make an edit or if I want to make a new remix or I'm producing a couple songs for other people as well, I can just do that before I go on stage.
Are you gonna stay the night? Are you gonna stay the night? Oh, 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 oh. Are you gonna stay the night? Are you gonna stay the night? Doesn't mean we're bound for life. So, oh, oh, oh. Are you gonna stay the night?
So you mentioned you work with a lot of people, and you have worked with, Ryan Tedder of One Republic and Ariana Grande and so many folks, and you've written for Justin Bieber and worked with Justin Bieber on a number of tracks. How does that process work? Do they come to you? Do you go to them? What's the whole process when you do a remix of a song?
Well, the way it used to be is that my label would ask if I would remix a single of somebody, and then artists would hear that and like it and start asking me directly whether I would want to remix a song or not. And it got to a point where I kind of stopped making remixes and just made my own music because I could, change the vocals, the lyrics, anything I want. And now I usually pick one song a year that I remix, and I just ask the artist if I can remix it. The last song I remixed was just a song I remixed for fun and didn't even ask the artist. I never put it out. I just did it for this live tour. So I have a little bit of a special treat for the fans. But yeah, usually either somebody hits me up and asks me, or I just ask them if I really love a song, if I could do it.
'Cause you are the piece of me I wish I didn't need. Chasing relentlessly, still fighting, I don't know why. If our love is tragedy, why are you my remedy? If our love insanity, why are you my clarity?
And the music you create is really, it's great music. I mean,
Thank you
you're
very much.
truly a prodigy. You started in classical music.
That was
and-
my beginning, yeah.
And then piano and drums, and then you evolved into now, a world-renowned producer.
That's right. I didn't think I would ever be a producer. I thought my future's in music. I'd never really wanted to do anything else. I thought I would probably be a drummer in a band. In years before that, I thought I would be a pianist, but I never thought I would be a, electronic music producer for the most part.
And in 2002, I think it was, you were with a band.
That's
and
right.
then 7 years later, that's when you got into the dance EDM type music.
Yeah, I really just started doing it for fun, so that's why it's so hard for me to answer when it actually started, because it really was a mix of a joke and just doing something new to learn it, and I never seriously considered this being my job or, being my, even my passion. Back then it was just a hobby. I just did it for fun. And then it evolved so quickly in this EDM world, just, was built around me and Skrillex and Porter and Medion and all these artists that, we all started together. We all had no clue what we were doing at all. We just did what was fun. And then we started touring together and saw all these things happening around us, all these festivals suddenly coming up and thousands and 10,000s of people showing up to shows. And it was just crazy because it all happened so fast.
We're beautiful now. We're beautiful now. We might not know why, we might not know how, but baby, tonight we're beautiful now. We'll light up the sky, we'll open the clouds, 'cause baby, tonight we're beautiful now. We're beautiful.
And why Why do you think EDM has all of a sudden become, in the U.S., it's always been throughout Europe. I mean, back to DJ Sammy and many years ago, and now all of a sudden in the U.S., there are so many artists who have now dominated the charts, including yourself. Why is it happening?
That's a great question. I think the scene in Europe is way different, to be honest with you. I don't think Europe has ever had this, what we have in the States right now. You know, there's always been electronic music, and there's been great artists in Europe. But it was more of an underground and club culture. When you go to a club, nobody looks at the DJ. Everybody kind of dances, and, you know, that's great. Where the culture we have right now is a concert vibe. You know, I have a full-on show and production, and, you know, we go through it with a lot of detail, and like we want to build tension and we want to, you know, tell a story. I don't think that has ever existed. I mean, with a couple exceptions, of course, but, you know, in this size, I don't think Europe or any country or any continent has had that before. And I don't know why, but I think there's just something fascinating about the energy and the positivity of 10,000 people of all ages and, you know, all colors and all religions coming together and, you know, having just a really wonderful time.
Yeah, you always make me go on away with your footsteps. I will be sitting there, drinks for two. And if you lose yourself, I will find you.
And, well, obviously your music is being recognized. You won a Grammy with Clarity and an MTV award and recently a Teen Choice Award. So you're collecting all these honors and these awards, and you have a new album on top of all of that. So did you do anything different? What with True Colors? What was the message with the new album?
I think my main message was, you know, we spoke about it for a minute. You know, my past was classical music, and I did jazz and rock and metal. And a lot of people don't know that about me, but all these things are still big influences for me, and I still, you know, feel like they're a big part of me. So it was important for me to show that I'm not just that one, you know, dance producer that some people might think I am, but that I'm, you know, just the musician that likes to make music and currently is in love with electronic music, but maybe we're gonna want to go back to bands, or I want to make some film music and do some orchestration and stuff like that. And I just want people to know that whatever I do musically, it's always me in my heart, and, you know, I'm not always going to stay the same, because I think I want to evolve, I want to learn new things, and there's new genres coming up, and I'm interested in just knowing about everything.
I want you to know that it's our time. You and me bleed the same light. I want you to know that I'm all yours. You and me, we're the same force.
What's your favorite part of the whole process? I mean, you've written hits, you've produced hits, you've been, you know, part of all this stuff. So if you had to pick one part of this, is it the performing? What is it that, you know, you really enjoy the most?
I think I enjoy writing the most. I love the first moment when there's nothing set in stone, and, you know, when I have a vocal and I start writing the chords, for example, that moment where I'm free and I can just improvise and play and, you know, reach totally different emotions while changing a couple notes on a keyboard. Like, that is my favorite part. And then, you know, obviously when it comes to producing the record, that is weeks in the studio of filing, like looking through every possible sound to make it perfect. That's a lot of work. So I enjoy the moment where I'm just free and, you know, I can just do whatever I want, which is the writing process probably the most. But then there's songs where, you know, I had a lot of fun producing and mixing, and performing is obviously always a really special moment. I played, just my last show was Madison Square Garden. That was something I've always wanted to do in my life, and performing there and looking up and seeing the Madison Square Garden sign and all these things are really breathtaking.
On the Zedd wish list, I won't say bucket list, you're only 26. On the Zedd wish list, your new album, you've got John Bellion on the new single. I assume there's lots of other surprises and other guests, because you don't sing, right? You're not a singer.
I'm not a singer. I just do background vocals, because it's sometimes hard to get people in the studio long enough. Mm-hmm. So when they leave, I do the rest, what they couldn't do.
So on the wish list, who do you want to work with?
There's a lot of artists, a lot of singers like Adele, and I love Katy Perry and The Weeknd and Sam Smith and Ed Sheeran. A lot of bands like Radiohead that I used to, you know, listen to when I grew up. Maybe even some more jazzy musicians like George Benson that I, you know, listen to a lot. I would love to see what would come out if we did a track in my world. There's so many artists that inspire me to do what I do, and I would love to just work with all of those.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to talk to you in
my
D.C.
pleasure.
I know the show is great. I was told it's sold out. All your shows are sold out everywhere you go. So congratulations to you, Zedd.
Thank you so much.
Anton. And True Colors is the name of the new album.
That's right.
So thank you for joining us on The
Thank
Voice
you
of
very
America.
much. My pleasure. Thank you.